Welcome back to the deep dive. Now, usually when we crack open a guide or, a research paper on this show, we're sitting under these bright studio lights. We've got our coffees, we're high energy, and we're trying to optimize your productivity or your health. But tonight, I want you to mentally shift gears with us.
Okay.
Imagine we aren't in the studio. Imagine it's, say, 11:00 p.m. We're in a booth way in the back of some dimly lit lounge.
I can picture it. The music is low.
The music is low. There's ice clinking in a glass somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the topic we're covering tonight,
Yeah.
it just doesn't belong in a classroom. We're talking about midnight English.
Midnight English. I like the texture of that. It implies that the language itself actually changes when the sun goes down.
It has to.
Because it does. The
Okay.
English you use in a boardroom at 10 in the morning, that creates a completely different reality than the English you need at midnight.
That is exactly what we're breaking down today. We are looking at the Midnight English Guide, which focuses on this concept called the chunking method. And looking through this, it strikes me that most people who learn English, even people who speak it very, very well, who are technically fluent, they completely fail the moment the context shifts.
Fails how?
The moment it shifts from, say, professional to romantic. They can write a perfect business email. They can order a coffee with no problem. But you put them in a lounge with someone they are attracted to, and what happens?
They freeze. Or, even worse, they become incredibly boring.
Yes.
They revert to what I call safety mode.
Safety mode. Let's unpack that, because I think this is where the safe trap comes in. We have all heard it. We've all seen it.
Oh, yeah.
You meet someone new, the air is charged, maybe there's a little bit of eye contact across the room.
The possibility is there.
The possibility is there. And then the learner, or even a nervous native speaker, relies on the script they learned in grade school. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
And just like that,
The FFT, the balloon pops, the tension is gone.
it's completely gone.
Because that isn't a conversation. That's a transaction. It's polite, sure. But politeness, in this context, it signals distance. It signals that you don't want to take a risk.
Right.
And if you won't take a risk, why should I be interested?
It's the difference between a handshake and a spark.
Yeah.
And the guide argues that to be attractive, you have to create tension. You have to build it.
Yes.
And you cannot create tension if you're doing mental math, if you're trying to build a sentence word by word, worrying about grammar.
Yeah.
You just sound hesitant.
You sound like you're buffering.
You sound like you're buffering. That's a great way to put it.
That buffering is the killer. It kills the vibe because it shows you're in your head, not in the...
In your head, not in the room. And this is where the core concept of this deep dive comes in. The lexical approach, or as the guide calls it, chunking.
Chunking.
Right. Let's demystify this for anyone listening who isn't a linguist.
Yeah.
Most people think language is like building a house brick by brick. You have a subject brick, a verb brick, an object brick, and you have to stack them up one by one. I would like to buy you a drink.
And by the time you finish the sentence, the moment is gone. I've already checked my phone.
The other person has fallen asleep, exactly.
Exactly.
Huh.
But native speakers, we don't build brick by brick. We use prefabricated walls. We use chunks.
Chunks.
These are phrases that are already assembled in our brains. We don't think about the grammar of how's it going. We just say it. It's one unit, one sound.
So the philosophy here is that if you want to be effective in a high-stakes social environment like a bar, you need to stop building sentences and start using these preloaded chunks.
It creates flow, and flow creates confidence, and confidence is attractive.
Right.
If you aren't worrying about the verb tense, you can focus on the eye contact. You can focus on the vibe. You can focus on me.
So here is our mission for this deep dive. We are going to break down the bar scene, as it were, into 3 distinct phases.
Okay.
Phase 1, the approach. Phase 2, building tension. And phase 3, the close.
The whole arc.
The whole arc. And for each phase,
Wow.
we have specific chunks, specific lines from the guide that do the heavy lifting for you.
And we should say, this isn't just about the words. The guide is very, very specific about how you deliver them, the voice, the pace.
Critically important.
If you say the right words with the wrong energy, it's game over.
Absolutely. We will get into the mechanics of the voice, the resonance, the speed as we go. But I want you to keep this in mind from the start. Slow down. Whatever speed you think is normal, drop it by 20%. Rush nothing.
That's hard for people to do when they're nervous.
It's the hardest thing, but it's the most important.
Shall we step into phase 1?
Let's do it. Phase 1, the approach. breaking the ice.
The hardest part. The moment of highest anxiety. This is where most people talk themselves out of even trying.
And when they do try, they make the biggest mistakes. The source material highlights a classic error, the interview mode.
The interview mode.
You walk up to someone and you ask for permission. Excuse me, can I sit here? Or, hello, what is your name?
Oh, the dreaded, where are you from?
Yes, that's the trifecta of bad openers.
It is polite. I'll give you that. It's not rude. But think about the psychology of that interaction. It puts all the work on me.
How so?
Well, if you ask, can I sit here? I now have to make a decision. I have to be the gatekeeper. I have to scan the room, scan you, and decide if I want you in my personal space. That's a job.
You're making them the boss.
Exactly. I didn't come here to manage the seating chart.
Right.
And if you ask, what is your name? Well, now I'm filling out a form. It's data entry. It's not seduction. It's administrative work.
That is a great way to put it. You're asking for validation rather than offering value. You're coming in with your hand out, asking for something. My name, my permission, my time.
You haven't earned it yet.
You haven't earned it.
Yeah.
So the guide suggests a complete flip. Don't ask, observe, and challenge.
This is where we get our first key chunk. And this one is powerful if you get it right, but it requires some nerve.
It does. Key chunk number 1. Yeah. You look like trouble.
Even hearing you say it, it provokes a reaction in me. It's interesting.
Now, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. When I first read this, I thought, okay, isn't that a bit cheesy? Isn't that a pickup line?
It can be.
If a guy walks up to you and says, you look like trouble, do you not roll your eyes?
It depends entirely on the delivery, 100%. If he comes up with this high energy, grinning like a game show host and says, hey, you look like trouble, then yes, I'm rolling my eyes, I'm checking my watch, I'm looking for an exit.
Right, it feels canned.
But if he comes up slow, if he actually looks at me for a beat, if he says it with that grounded certainty we were talking about, then it's not a line, it's an observation.
Let's analyze why it works linguistically. You look like trouble. Grammatically, it's simple, but socially, it's very complex. It's a playful accusation.
It is, and think about what that signals to me. First, you're noticing me, which is good.
A good start.
A very good start. But you aren't just noticing that I'm pretty or nice. Nice is boring. Nice is the girl next door. You are implying that I am exciting, that I have a secret, that I am dangerous in a fun way.
And everyone wants to be the protagonist of a movie. Nice is a background character. Trouble is the lead role.
Yes.
You're handing them a script where they get to be the exciting one.
Exactly. You are validating the part of me that wants to be a little bit wild, a little bit unpredictable, but there's a mechanic here that we absolutely cannot skip.
The delivery.
The delivery. You can't just walk up and say, you look like trouble really fast. It sounds like you're nervous. It sounds like you're trying to get it over with.
No, it needs the pause. The guide calls it the authority pause.
Right. So it's, a little pause, like trouble.
That pause does two things. First, it makes you look like you're actually thinking, assessing. It shows you aren't just reciting a line you learned online. You're actually looking at them and forming an opinion in that moment.
And secondly, it pulls me in. When you say you look, I'm waiting. I'm leaning in mentally. Look like what? Do I look tired? Do I look like my mother? And then you hit me with it? Trouble.
And what's the natural reaction? The source says this phrase basically guarantees a response.
It does, because I have to defend myself, but playfully. I might smile and say, what? Me? No way. Or, what do you mean by that? Or, only on Fridays.
Exactly. And boom, you were in a conversation. You didn't ask, how are you? You didn't talk about the weather. You created a spark. You skipped the boring part. You bypassed the entire interview.
There is a risk here, though, or maybe a challenge.
What's that?
What if the person you're talking to is clever? What if they know the game?
The counter move. I like this. What if you are the listener and someone uses a vague line on you?
Right.
Let's say I come up to you, I give you a line. Maybe I say, you look like trouble. Or maybe just something like, you look interesting.
Yeah.
The amateur move is to just say, thank you.
Thank you. It kills it. It just stops everything cold.
Why? Why is that so bad?
Thank you is a period. It ends the sentence. It ends the tension. It's polite, but it's submissive. It says, I accept your judgment and I am grateful for it.
It's passive.
It's passive. We want a question mark. We want to keep the ball in the air.
So the counter chunk provided by the guide is, in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way or a bad way?
I love that. Because now you have completely flipped the script. I approached you, I was the judge, I was the one labeling you as trouble. But with that one question, you just turned the tables. Now I have to explain myself to you.
It challenges the frame. It shows high confidence. You aren't just grateful that I deigned to speak to you. You require qualification. Am I trouble in a good way? Prove it.
And that dynamic, that little push and pull, that is the essence of flirting. It's a game of status. If you just accept everything someone says, your status drops. If you challenge back playfully, your status rises.
And it's fun. It makes the conversation a game, a dance, rather than an interview. It signals that you can keep up.
Speaking of interviews, that brings us perfectly to phase 2.
Phase 2, building tension. Or, as the guide calls it, how to avoid the resume trap.
This is the death zone for so many conversations. It really is. You break the ice, things are going okay, maybe you got to laugh at the trouble line, and then panic sets in.
Silence.
You run out of things to say, the silence starts to creep in. So what does the average person do? They revert to the factory settings.
So, where are you from? What do you do for work? Did you watch the game last night?
How many siblings do you have? It turns into a census.
I can feel the energy draining out of the room just talking about it. Look, I have answered those questions 1,000 times. I'm from here, I work in marketing, it's a script, I can say it while I'm falling asleep.
The autopilot.
It feels like work. And we're at a bar to avoid work, not to do more of it.
The guide calls these resume questions. They're about facts, not feelings. Connection doesn't live in facts. Connection lives in feelings and vibes. If I know you're an accountant from Ohio, I know 2 facts about you. I don't know you.
Not at all. So the solution the guy proposes is something called cold reading.
Cold reading. Now, this is a technique used by psychics, fortune tellers, and very, very good flirters. Instead of asking for the fact, you guess the vibe. You make a statement about who you think they are.
This is risky for some people. They immediately worry, but what if I'm wrong?
And the guy says, it doesn't matter if you are wrong. In fact, being wrong can sometimes be even better than being right.
Explain that. Because that feels counterintuitive. Most people are terrified of looking stupid.
Okay, so let's game this out. Imagine I say to you, you seem like a lawyer. Now, if you are a lawyer, you say, wow, good guess. Yes, I am. It's okay. It's a small connection.
Okay.
But if you are actually an artist, you will probably laugh. You'll say, a lawyer. Do I really look that serious? No way, I'm a painter.
Yeah.
And now we're in a much more interesting conversation.
I see.
Now we are talking about your personality. We're talking about why you might look serious or why I misread you. We are talking about you, the person, not your job title.
Right. It shows you're actually paying attention. You're observing me. You're not just running through a list of questions you're supposed to ask.
Which leads us to key chunk number 3. This is a heavy hitter. This is for when there's a lull in the conversation. Maybe you've been talking for 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
The surface level stuff is done. You pause, you look them right in the eyes, and you say it quietly. I'm trying to figure you out.
Oh, that is intimate.
It is. I'll say it again. I'm trying to figure you out.
Think about the bubble that creates. Just for a second. Suddenly, the rest of the noisy room disappears. It implies that I am complex, that I am a puzzle, and you are the one trying to solve it.
It validates the other person's depth. I think most people feel misunderstood.
Deep down, yes.
They feel like people only see the surface. The accountant, the marketing manager. This phrase says, I see something more. I'm looking deeper than that.
But the delivery here, this cannot be thrown away. You can't say this while you're looking at your phone or looking around the room for the waiter.
No. This requires that unhurried pacing we talked about. You have to hold the eye contact for a beat longer than is comfortable. It's almost a whisper. I'm trying to figure you out.
It creates a vacuum, a silence that is filled with tension, but it's a good tension. It's magnetic. It invites me to help you figure me out. It invites me to open up.
And once you've established that little pocket of intimacy, you need to keep the dynamic playful. You don't want to get too heavy too fast.
Right. You don't want to turn it into a therapy session.
Exactly. You need to spike the emotional graph. You need to introduce some playfulness back in.
Which brings us to the concept of the polite agreement trap.
Right. So the other person says something. Maybe a standard boring answer. Oh, I'm actually pretty shy.
Right. The default thing people say about themselves.
The safe response is to just agree. Oh, really? Me too.
Yeah.
Or that's nice.
Boring, and probably untrue usually. You're just agreeing to be nice to keep the peace.
Instead, the guide suggests we use key chunk number 4,
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Now wait, this needs a huge disclaimer. If I just say, I don't believe you, with a flat, serious tone, I sound like I'm calling you a liar.
It's all in the tone. It has to be wrapped in a smile. Your eyes have to be smiling. It's a playful challenge.
Exactly.
You say you're shy. I don't believe you. You say you're an innocent, quiet person. I don't believe you.
It's the push-pull dynamic again. You are disagreeing, but you are smiling. You are telling me that you see something in me that contradicts what I'm saying.
Yes.
You're saying, you claim you're shy, but I see a spark of something else in your eyes. I see the trouble. It connects back.
It suggests you see the real them. And people love to be seen. They absolutely love it when someone spots the interesting contradiction in their own personality.
It's a flirtatious challenge, not an argument. You are inviting them to prove you wrong. Oh, you don't believe I'm shy? Watch this. It creates a game.
It's fascinating how these chunks, you look like trouble, I'm trying to figure you out, I don't believe you, they all function to elevate the conversation above the mundane. They refuse to be boring.
They refuse to be safe. That's the key. They demand engagement. They are high-friction phrases in a good way.
So, okay. We have approached. We've broken the ice. We have built some real tension and connection. The vibe is high. You've figured them out. At least you're trying to.
Right.
But now, the night is ending. Or maybe your friends are leaving. Or the venue is changing.
Phase 3, the close. This is where the deal is sealed. And ironically, this is where so many people, after doing everything right, crash and burn. They do all the hard work, build all this tension, and then they fumble the ball at the 1-yard line.
It's the return of asking for permission, isn't it?
It's painful to watch. You've been this cool, confident person all night. You've been playful, challenging, unhurried, and then at the last second, you shrink.
The shoulders slump a little.
Your shoulders hunch. Your voice goes up an octave, and you say, so could I maybe have your phone number? If that's okay with you, no pressure.
And just like that, the spell is broken. You went from being the leading man to the fanboy asking for an autograph.
That's it.
It sounds desperate. It sounds submissive. It erases all the good work you just did.
It kills the tension because you are handing all the power back to them. You're waiting for a verdict. You're standing before the judge, waiting for them to say yes or no.
Right.
So the guide suggests something called the assumptive close.
The assumptive close. This is key. It means you act as if the outcome is already decided. You assume that of course they want to see you again. Why wouldn't they? You've been having a great time.
Remove the friction of decision making. That's the goal. Don't make them decide between yes or no. Make the next step feel like the logical, obvious continuation of the chemistry you've already built.
So, how do we transition? How do you bridge that gap between we're having a great conversation and I'm getting your number?
You use key chunk number 5.
Yeah.
This is best used when the energy is high, right at a peak. You say, we should continue this.
We should continue this. I want to point out the word this.
This. It's brilliant. It's abstract. It implies everything we've just built. It refers to the vibe, the chemistry, the banter, the feeling in the air.
It frames the future interaction not as a formal date, which has a lot of pressure attached to it, but as a simple continuation of the fun we are having right now.
It's not a request for a favor. It's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
This thing we have going is good. Therefore, we should continue it.
It's logical.
It's logical.
Right.
And once you've established that logical next step, you execute the physical close. And this requires key chunk number 6.
This one is my favorite because it is so bold, it requires total conviction. There's no half measure here.
Put your number in my phone.
Put your number in my phone.
It is an imperative,
Yeah.
a command. But notice the action that has to go with it. You don't just say this with your hands in your pockets. You have your phone out already. It is unlocked. The new contact screen is open. You are physically handing it to them as you speak.
That physical action is crucial. If you just say the words, it might sound bossy or arrogant, but if you're in the middle of handing me the phone, my body reacts before my brain does.
Can you explain that?
My hand just reaches out to take the phone. It's muscle memory. Someone hands you something, you take it. You don't think about it.
Exactly. You are bypassing the decision part of their brain, the part that hesitates and overthinks, and you're going straight to the action part. You aren't asking, do you want to give me your number? You are saying, here is the tool to make the continuation we just agreed upon happen. Use it.
And in a flirting context, that level of direction is incredibly attractive. It shows you know what you want, you are taking charge. It relieves me of the burden of having to make the next move.
But again, the voice, the intonation. We talked about this in the persona setup, but we need to reinforce it here. It's all about the falling intonation.
This is such a subtle but vital linguistic detail. When we ask questions in English, our voice usually goes up at the end. Can I have your number? The pitch goes up.
And that upward inflection implies uncertainty.
Yeah.
It implies you don't know the answer. It implies you are pleading.
Statements of fact go down. The sky's blue. Down. Put your number in my phone. Down.
The pitch drops at the end of the sentence. It signals authority. It signals that this is not a request. It is simply what is happening now. This is reality. Put your number in my phone.
If you say, put your number in my phone, with an upward inflection, it completely ruins it. It sounds confused. It has to be grounded. It has to land.
So let's recap the whole stack, the Midnight English stack.
Okay.
Step 1, you catch their eye, you walk over, unhurried, you make eye contact, you give that little pause, you look like trouble.
Okay.
Step 2, they laugh, they defend themselves, you get into a real conversation, you avoid the resume questions, you use cold reading. At the right moment, you pause, you look at them. I'm trying to figure you out. Step 3, the connection is solid, the vibe is right, the night is ending. You don't ask for permission, you take out your phone. We should continue this, put your number in my phone.
It's a clean line, a straight path from stranger to connection. There are no safe detours into the boring stuff.
Now, I want to pivot slightly to what the guide calls the Midnight Style Guide, because we've touched on it, but we need to really drill this down. It emphasizes that how you say it is just as important, maybe more important than what you say.
I would say it's more important. In a loud bar, words can get lost. The vibe, the energy that transmits clearly.
We mentioned slowing down, the 20% rule.
Most people speak way too fast when they're nervous. It's a defense mechanism. We think if we talk fast, we're holding their attention.
Right, like if I stop talking, they'll leave.
Exactly. But actually, speaking fast signals that we're afraid they're going to stop listening. It's needy.
Speaking slowly signals that you believe what you are saying is worth waiting for. It signals control. It signals that you are comfortable in the silence between words.
And that deep chest resonance you mentioned earlier in the setup, that gritty texture.
All right, think about a late-night radio DJ or a whiskey commercial voiceover. They don't speak from their throat, all thin and reedy. They speak from their chest. It's grounded. When you speak from your chest, it literally vibrates in the other person's chest. It's a physical feeling. It has presence.
And for the ladies, or for anyone wanting a softer approach, there's that breathy quality, that silky tone. But, and this is a big but, the guide makes it still needs clarity.
Explain that, because breathy can sometimes sound like mumbling.
Nope.
If you mumble in a bar, you're just the person nobody can hear.
You can whisper, you can be breathy and quiet, but your consonants need to be crisp, especially the ending sounds of words. They have to pop.
Okay.
If you say, put your number in my phone, and you swallow the M on from, or the N on phone, sounds slushy. It sounds drunk or lazy.
So sharp edges on the words, but a soft texture in the voice.
Exactly. Put your number in my phone. Each word is distinct, clear, even if it's spoken quietly.
This is really all about confidence in your own space, isn't it? Taking up space with your voice, not rushing to finish your sentence.
It's the difference between throwing a ball at someone and handing it to them gently.
That's a great analogy. Throwing words versus placing them.
So what does this all mean for the listener who is sitting there thinking, okay, this all sounds cool in theory, but I'm still terrified?
It means you have to change your goal. That's the first step.
Okay.
Stop trying to be correct. Stop trying to speak perfect English. If you are at a bar, nobody cares about your grammar. Nobody is grading your syntax. They only care about how you make them feel.
Connection over perfection, always.
And stop trying to be safe. Safe is the enemy. Safe is the friend zone. Safe is, it was nice meeting you, and then never seeing them again.
Better to crash and burn being interesting than to succeed at being boring?
Precisely. If you say, you look like trouble, and they look at you like you're crazy and walk away, fine. At least you took a shot. At least you weren't the 10th person that night asking, so where are you from? At least you're the main character for 10 seconds.
You know, this does raise an important question about authenticity. I can hear someone thinking, isn't this manipulative? Isn't using pre-made chunks fake?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it's the exact opposite of fake. Think about it like this. When you learn to dance, what do you do first?
You learn the steps.
You learn the steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And at first, it feels mechanical. It feels stiff. You're looking at your feet. But once you know the steps so well, you don't have to think about them. You can forget them. You can just feel the music and move.
That's true. The chumps are just the steps. They are the training wheels. Once you master the energy behind "I'm trying to figure you out," you don't need that exact phrase anymore. You can freestyle. You can riff on it.
But you need the structure to find the freedom. The chunks give you the structure, so you aren't drowning in anxiety. They are the life raft that gets you to the other side.
And let's be honest, "How are you? I am fine" is also a chunk. It's just a really boring, ineffective one.
Exactly.
We're just swabbing out boring chunks for exciting ones.
You are already using scripts. We are just giving you better scripts that actually work, scripts that get results.
I want to circle back to the cold reading idea for a second, because I think that is a skill that goes way beyond just flirting. It's a social superpower.
It is. At its core, it's about empathy. It's about observation.
To say, "You look like trouble," or "You seem like you're the creative type," you have to actually look at the person. You have to take in their clothes, their posture, their energy, the way they hold their glass. You have to be present.
Most people are stuck in their own heads. They're just thinking, do I look good? Is my hair okay? What am I going to say next? Do I have spinach in my teeth?
Right.
Cold reading forces you to get out of your own head and into their world for a moment.
And that is so attractive. Real focused attention is maybe the rarest commodity we have. We live in a world where everyone is looking at their screens. If you really look at someone and try to see them, that's powerful.
So even if you don't use the exact words, "I'm trying to figure you out," the act of trying to figure them out is what creates the magnetism.
It's the difference between waiting for your turn to speak and actually truly listening with your eyes and your gut.
So we have the toolkit, we have the philosophy, we have the voice instructions.
The Midnight English Toolkit. I like that.
I want to challenge our listeners,
Okay.
because listening to this deep dive is easy, it's safe. Doing it is hard.
It is. Your heart will beat faster. Your palms might sweat. Your brain will scream at you, "Abort, abort, say the safe thing."
Good. That means you are alive. That means you're on the edge of your comfort zone, which is where growth happens. Here is the challenge.
Okay.
The next time you are in a social setting, it doesn't have to be a date, it could be a party, a networking event, whatever, try to go the entire night without asking a standard resume question.
No, where are you from? No, what do you do? No, how long have you lived here?
None of it. If you want to know what they do for a living, guess. You have the hands of a surgeon. Or you look like you argue with your boss a lot.
Make observations instead of inquiries. See what happens. See how the energy of the conversation shifts. See if they light up when you get it wrong in an interesting way.
And pay attention to the silence. Don't rush to fill it. Let the pause sit there. Remember the authority pause. You look. Pause. Like trouble.
Let the tension build. Don't be the one to pop the balloon.
This has been a different kind of deep dive for us. A little darker, a little smoother.
I liked it. It felt necessary. It felt like we were letting the listeners in on a really important secret.
If you take one thing away from this tonight, let it be this. English is not just a tool for exchanging information. It is a tool for creating connection. Use it to play. Use it to create sparks. Use it to, yes, get the number.
And don't be afraid to be a little bit dangerous.
In a good way or a bad way.
You catch on fast.
We'll see you in the next one. Or maybe we won't. Maybe you'll be too busy figuring someone out.
See ya.